They stared at endless rows of blinking lights, matching symbols and sliding discs, searching for patterns in a sea of randomness. In the dead of night, they fed information into massive machines, hoping against hope that what they were about to see would make sense. It seemed like a never-ending game of Battleship, except the stakes couldn't have been higher. They had to decipher encrypted messages that changed daily. Messages that contained details of military operations. That could mean the difference between victory and defeat. For over 4 years, these secret teams of codebreakers worked in silence. But what if I told you the race to break these codes is still happening today? You might think that wars ended when the last shots were fired and the peace treaty signed. But that's just not true. Because as long as there are secrets to keep and information to protect, there will be a battle of wits to crack the latest encryption and outsmart the enemy. And sometimes the front lines of this battle are drawn right across our own cities. Welcome to my channel, and today we're answering the extraordinary question: what if the city split by a border still starts today? Because although the physical walls between East and West Berlin came down over 30 years ago, the cyber walls are thicker than ever. Now first, let's rewind back to 1948. After World War II, Germany was divided into 4 zones occupied by the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union. And within a year, those zones became the Federal Republic of Germany, or West Germany, and the German Democratic Republic, or East Germany. And then in 1961, the infamous Berlin Wall was erected, dividing the city into East Berlin and West Berlin. Each side saw itself as the true Germany, each convinced that it was superior to the other. And as such, both sides had plenty of secrets to protect and hide from the other. For instance, in East Germany, you couldn't just criticize the government. It was illegal. And if you got caught doing it, well, you'd probably end up on the wrong side of the wall without your passport. On the other hand, West Germany had its fair share of classified info too. Think about it. Being surrounded by communist-controlled territory made it a prime target for spies and infiltrators. So naturally, both sides took great lengths to encrypt their communications and keep them safe from prying eyes. And as you can imagine, it wasn't exactly easy to do back in the 1960s. You know, before smartphones and secure online connections, they relied on 3 main techniques. The first was invisible ink, where they used chemicals that would show up under normal circumstances but would reveal themselves under UV light. The second was a simple hiding spot, like putting a letter inside a hollowed out book or a package. And third, and perhaps the most popular method, was steganography, which is basically hiding messages within other pieces of media. For example, you could embed secret messages in pictures by making slight modifications to the color or position of pixels or dots, something the CIA did extensively during the Cold War. So with these techniques being so prevalent, there was a pressing need for someone to infiltrate the other side and break the codes. Enter our hero, Klaus Fuchs, a man whose life would become a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Now, Klaus was a German physicist who defected to the Soviet Union after World War II and became a major player in the spy game. He worked as a double agent, feeding both sides all kinds of valuable secrets and inventions, including the Soviet nuclear program. One of his most famous missions involved sneaking around the British zone of occupied Germany and stealing important documents. He'd get these documents to the Soviets through a series of secret drops, all done with the hopes of destabilizing the West. But here's the kicker. While Klaus was busy playing international chess, he didn't realize he was being watched. The Americans had their eyes on him the whole time, piecing together his activities and slowly building a case against him. It was like a real-life game of spy versus spy, but instead of cartoon characters, it was full-grown adults risking their lives. Now, in order to catch Klaus, the Americans needed to sift through countless reports, letters, photos, and documents, much of which was encrypted. They had to find a way to read it. But how? Well, enter the world of cryptography and the unsung heroes of the intelligence community, aided by the invention of computers. the Americans worked tirelessly to develop new ways to crack encryption. One of their best weapons was a massive machine called the Colossus. This behemoth was designed to search through mountains of intercepted messages looking for patterns and keywords. Essentially, it was a giant word puzzle solver that could go through hundreds of pages in minutes. As the Americans closed in on Klaus, the pressure to decode messages faster than ever mounted. And that's when things took a turn for the worst. After years of living a double life, Klaus's cover was blown and he fled to Moscow. It was a devastating blow to the Americans, but not the end of the story. Klaus lived in Russia until 1988, but his legacy lived on in the form of one of the biggest manhunts in history. His case prompted the U.S. government to invest heavily in breaking encryption, and that led to the creation of the National Security Agency, or NSA, in 1946. From that point on, the race to crack codes and stay one step ahead of the enemy has never stopped. Now let's fast forward to the present day. Even though the Berlin Wall crumbled in 1989, the battle of wits continues. Thanks to advances in technology, encryption has become even more critical and sophisticated. With the rise of the internet and cybersecurity threats on the rise, the demand for skilled cryptanalysts has skyrocketed. Nowadays, top organizations like the NSA and GCHQ employ experts who possess a unique combination of skills, including linguistic prowess, mathematical genius, and an understanding of computer science. These individuals are tasked with solving complex puzzles on a daily basis. Imagine having to decipher cryptic messages sent through social media platforms, emails, or even text messages. It's a lot like being a detective, except the clues aren't physical and the stakes are often very high. In fact, in 2010, a group of hackers stole classified data from the GCHQ. This massive leak of top-secret information not only exposed sensitive government operations, but also threatened the safety of countless people around the world. Investigations revealed that the mastermind behind this heist was a former GCHQ employee named Gary McKinnon. Gary's motives were pretty simple. He wanted to expose what he saw as a vast government conspiracy to control citizens through mass surveillance. As it turned out, Gary was just getting started. He infiltrated NASA, the U.S. Army, the Pentagon, and even the French military. Gary's actions weren't just a wake-up call. They were a full-blown alarm bell, signaling a new era in cyber warfare. Today, we live in a world where conflicts aren't just fought on land and sea, but also in the shadowy realm of cyberspace. Countries and organizations constantly vie for a technological upper hand, employing ethical hackers and security experts to infiltrate systems, steal data, and disrupt operations. It's a constant game of cat and mouse where staying one step ahead means national security. But as technology evolves, so do the threats. Now in 2023, the battle of which rages on with the advent of AI. Artificial intelligence is rapidly changing the face of encryption. With its ability to analyze vast amounts of data in milliseconds, AI-powered programs can crack encryption code that once seemed unbreakable. This development has left many wondering, is it the end of privacy as we know it? Some experts believe that AI will force us to rethink how we protect sensitive information. Others argue that AI will create a new arms race in encryption where each country or organization tries to outsmart the others. Either way, one thing is clear. The battle of wits isn't going away anytime soon. Can you imagine a world without computers or the internet? Without touring? That might have been our reality. If you enjoyed this glimpse into history's hidden heroes, hit subscribe for more untold stories that shape our world. And for a deeper dive into the past, check out this video next. See you there.